the things that made the Apostle Paul very successful is that he understood the concept of boundaries. In 2 Corinthians chapter 10, beginning with verse 13, Paul said, we will not boast about things done outside our area of authority. So there's an area of authority that I have. We will only boast about what has happened within the boundaries of the work God has given us, which includes our working with you. We are not reaching beyond these boundaries when we claim authority over you, as if we have never visited you. For we were the first to travel all the way to Corinth with the good news of Christ. So Paul said, there are some boundaries. He said, my ministry has some boundaries. Now, that's a strange thing to say for a man who evangelized the Roman world. But think of the boundaries that he lived with. He recognized that he was called to the Gentiles. 1 Timothy 2, verse 7, I have been chosen as a preacher and apostle to teach the Gentiles this message about faith and truth. I'm not exaggerating, just telling the truth. He said, that's who I am. I'm an apostle to the Gentiles. I may be a Jew, and I may not fit into your culture, and you can get all nationalistic with me, or you can get all regionalistic with me, or you can get all whatever with me. But he said, the boundaries that I have first are, I'm called to the Gentiles. He says that Peter was called to be an apostle to the Jews, and he was called an apostle to the Gentiles. These boundaries not only deal with people groups, it deals with geographical areas. Now look with me at verse 15. Nor do we boast and claim credit for work someone else has done. Instead, we hope that your faith will grow so that the boundaries of our work among you will be extended. Then we will be able to go and preach the good news in other places far beyond where no one else is working. Then there will be no question about our boasting, about work done in someone else's territory. Now notice, territory. Now back up again to verse 14. We're not reaching beyond these boundaries when we claim authority over you, as if we never visited you. He said, for we were the first to travel all the way to Corinth with the good news of Christ. Now notice, all of these words here, territory, travel, all of this deals with geographical things. So, when I look at my life, I take these verses and I say, all right, what are the boundaries of the authority God has given me in ministry? It would be to the Filipino people. That's the people group God has called me to. Those are the people that God has assigned to me. That's part of the boundaries of my ministry. Now, when you begin to look at people groups and you begin to look at geographical areas, you begin to realize that God does establish boundaries for pastoral leadership. God does establish boundaries for ministerial leadership, both geographical and people group. And as pastors, when we learn to stick within them, then we don't have problems. Paul said, now there are these other guys, these super apostles, they're stepping out of their boundaries and into my boundaries. They're stepping into my territory. I didn't step into their territory. I was the first one here. So Paul said, one of the things that causes conflict in spiritual leadership, among spiritual leadership, would be people who don't understand the concept of boundaries. But there's an even more beautiful truth here. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 15 again. He said, we hope your faith will grow so that the boundaries of our work among you will be extended. Even what we are allowed by God to accomplish in people's lives, those boundaries are set. This is what you can do in somebody's life as a pastor. This is what you can do in somebody's life as a spiritual leader. Those boundaries are also set, but those boundaries are determined by a person's faith. As they grow in faith, you can accomplish more in their life. There are always some people that come to church and they're rebellious and they have no faith, and lack of faith and rebellion are basically, symbiotic twins, all right? They're full of rebellion. They have no faith. They've got bad attitudes. There's very little that you can accomplish in their lives. But show me a church member who's growing in their faith. You can take them farther. The boundaries of what you can accomplish in somebody's life is amazing if they will grow in their faith. For instance, for years, I brought church members into prosperity. I've seen an ability to help them grow their businesses and build their house and lots and have an inheritance for their children's children. Why? Because their faith has grown to that. There are other people, though, because of their lack of faith, what I can accomplish in their life in that area is very little. There are those that grow in their faith and healing, and the boundaries of my work in their life to minister healing and miracles in their life have just been expanded. So please, rather than look at the preacher as a source, look at your faith as what opens the door for what ministry can happen in your life.